Alex here from Blacksheep IT Consulting. This is a little walkthrough through the Siebel AI, Siebel Generic AI Web Services business service. And that generic AI business service, let's call it that, is available in Siebel 25.3 and higher. And in this environment, I have enabled all the OCI AI specific things, but I also want to connect to non-OCI services such as Anthropic's Claude AI. And so in this demo, I'm going to use the DevPops service runner just as an easy way to invoke any business service. So that's included in the open source DevPops package, which is available on the Blacksheep CRM GitHub. And it allows me to save presets so I can open my examples really quick. And let's start with a very simple one. So here I have an invocation to the Siebel Generic AI Web Service. So that's the exact name that this business service has. And there's one method you're worried about, which is invoke generic AI. And then it depends on actually what your JSON template file name is for the next two parameters, which is the provider, OCI, and the model, Cohere. So these two are used to find a specific file with those names in the file name. And let's take a look. In my application container internal web apps folder, I have OCI underscore Cohere. I have also others like OCI generic, and we will going to use them. So here, remember, OCI underscore Cohere. So provider underscore model dot JSON is the template file name. So I'm referring to a specific template file, and in this template file I can use, well, text placeholders like prompt. So I'm passing this prompt, who founded Siebel Systems, and I can also add a specific model name that I can pass in from the outside, and I'm using the latest Cohere command plus. And I can also, thanks to Cohere, I can set a preamble. I say always respond in German. So this is a very easy invocation of a business service, comparably simple. We have just 5 input properties. We can increase the number of input properties if we make the template more complex. But remember, provider and model form the template file name. So let's run this and then take a look at the template. So I click run. Siebel executes a business service as you would do. And I can see there's one output property passed back. It's called output. The output property set has one property called output, and the value of this is the text returned by the LLM. In this case, it's Cohere on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So this is definitely a German text about the founding of Siebel CRM by Tom Siebel. Okay, this is great. Is this a fake demo? No, it is not. So let me just change the language in the preamble. So we can do this. Let's say always respond in Spanish, and we'll ask about who founded Oracle. And let's run it with this input and see, okay, Oracle Corporación fue fundada, etc. So, and it is correct information as far as I can see here, and it's in Spanish. Okay, so we can interact with the LLM. We can send messages and get responses, so we can basically get into a conversation with any LLM. Now this demo is just Cohere on OCI, so let's just stop here for a moment and take a look at this template file. First, how does it work? Well, to work with OCI, you need a default, or the first auth section in your OCI config properties needs to point to a correct tenancy and compartment and have the correct key. So that setup is described in the Siebel Hub training module on Siebel AI integration. And this auth section is for, in this case, for Anthropic to use the Claude AI. And then you can see some Gen AI settings. So this is a modern Siebel environment where we also have the multimodal support here. And here are some speech settings. So you need to set this up correctly. And then you also need to set up the JSON template. So here's my template that we were just using, OCI_cohere. So templates have a path. They have a request payload section, which is very important. They have an action, post, and a response field. So in the first level, basically, this is the instructions for the Siebel standard Java business service that this business service is to actually make an outbound REST request to the respective provider, in this case, Oracle Cloud. And it will post this payload, so it must match exactly the vendor specification. So Oracle specifies for Cohere a specific format, and here you can see the first placeholder in the pointy brackets. You include the name of the placeholder. So the message is what I submit in the prompt. You see, I've also added other parameters like max tokens. So I get a maximum of 4,000 tokens back from the LLM. You can change the temperature and the top K, top P if you know what you're doing. There's the preamble override that is specific to Cohere. There's also the option to add a chat history like previous chats, previous messages to establish the context for the conversation. Then I have my compartment ID, which is required for OCI, and I have my serving mode. And in the serving mode, I have the model ID. So I can replace the name of the model. I can use a different Cohere model if I wanted to in my business service invocation. A serving type is always on demand, and it will locate the text field in the response and map that to the output property that we have seen. So this is how these template works for the Siebel generic AI web service. It works only with those templates. And of course, depending on your cloud provider, on your LLM provider, you need to set up your authentication and you need to set up the API keys, etc. So what else can we do? Let's stick with OCI for a moment. So OCI also hosts other models other than Cohere. For example, Llama by Meta. So let's switch to a Llama example. So again, this is using a different file I call OCI_generic. And I ask it who founded Siebel Systems. So let's just run it to see that we get a response. Well, it's very terse. Siebel Systems was founded in 1993 by Thomas Siebel, which is correct. And so this is a file I named OCI_generic. Notice in the request I specify the provider and the model separated by underscore suffixed with .json. This is your file name. And this is the so-called generic API format that Oracle documents. And it's slightly different, but the benefit is it serves any other model on OCI, Llama or XAI Grok or the Google models, etc. So Oracle keeps adding models to OCI, and anything except Cohere uses that generic model. So that is a generic model for text prompts. You can see the placeholders for prompt and model. So I can pass literally any model that is supported on my tenancy in my region and get a response. So let's try with a different model, for example, Grok 3 fast. You can see it's the same file name reference. Now I'm sending a different model ID, so I will get a response from XAI Grok. And well, it's a little bit more verbose and also mentions the acquisition by Oracle, which is fine. So yeah, any model that's supported on OCI, you can add here on your region, on your tenancy, so there might be difference. But Oracle recently has announced, as of September 2025, that they have added Google's Gemini and other models already to augment the models available on OCI. I tend to believe that these are pass-through models, so they're not really hosted on OCI, but OCI acts as an aggregator and forwards the requests to other clouds. So bringing up the topic of data security here. So how secure is it to send customer data or documents to other, well, basically outside your on-premises or outside your cloud infrastructure to other vendors? How secure is that? That discussion we are not doing here, but of course you should definitely think about it. So this is a OCI generic, and well, I have told you that I want to also show a Claude example, but well, there's one more, sorry. Let's go for the multimodal option. So here we have a file called OCI underscore multimodal. So here it is. And that is an extension of the generic API format from OCI. Various models like Llama Maverick allow you to specify images. So literally upload a base64 image. They only support images at the point in time. That is a PNG or JPEG. And of course, there's a maximum size, but you can ask it in the prompt, for example, what's in the image. So that's exactly what we're doing. I upload the image. Notice the format data, image PNG, base64. So that prefix must be present. And everything after that prefix, after the comma, is the base64 representation. Now, what am I sending here in that base64 string? I'll ask metas llama 3290 billion parameter model for vision instruct. So it's a vision supporting model hosted on OCI. Let's find out what it sees. So we're running this real time, not pausing the video. Okay, took a while, but it says this image shows a black and white cartoon sheep figurine with a round head, big eyes, a small nose. So that is a image, a cartoon image of a sheep. Let's see if that's correct. So here's the image I've been uploading. And yep, so it found a cartoon image of a sheep. Well, that's what it is. Okay, so now we have seen the OCI hosted models, or some of them. We have seen Llama, Grok, Cohere at work, Llama even with the multimodal mode. And now let's switch to a Claude model, the Claude model by Anthropic. So you notice that my provider name is Anthropic, my model name is Claude, and I have a model ID, a recent Claude model. I'm asking it who founded Siebel Systems, so let's run this. And I get a proper response back. But this time it's not an OCI hosted model, it's a, well, model in this case from Anthropic. And here you can imagine to use any model that you prefer, be it by Google or Microsoft or OpenAI's ChatGPT, you name it. All you need is an API key. Put that in your OCI config properties. You see I have here the API key for Claude, and I have the other necessary headers that Oracle will put in the HTTP headers for the call. So let me just find the file real quick. So here's the Anthropic Claude JSON file that is used now. That's the template I'm using now. You can see the path to the Anthropic API. You can see that it's a post. Also, Anthropic has a text field, the response in a text field, which we can pick up. The request payload is very simple. Name of the model, my model ID that I can pass in from the outside, max tokens. So that seems like a minimalist payload. Claude has a lot more parameters. And here's the content for the message is my prompt. And that allows me to interact from Siebel with that, with Anthropic's Claude. And Claude can do a lot more things than the current models in OCI. It can, of course, for example, read PDF files or any other image, larger image types. And so let's feed it for the final demo. Let's feed Claude a PDF document. So I'm using a file which I dubbed Anthropic _ Claude multimodal. So using, of course, the necessary parameter to pass in the content type, such as document, the plain base64. Imagine this is a Siebel attachment. You convert it to base64 and you're sending it off. To my knowledge, as of September 2025, no model hosted on OCI can currently do PDF, but that might change in the future. And reading PDF is, of course, a very good skill for Siebel attachments. You can, well, first of all, you're sending your attachment to an external cloud provider. That's your responsibility. But what you get back is you get a summary, or you get the data extracted, and so forth. I need also specify the media type, which is application PDF. I have my prompt and I have my model. So let's fire this off. And let's see what PDF that is, or what it reads from that PDF. It takes a while. It's a big file. I'm sending. And well, I'm not pausing the video purpose, so you see the real-time experience. So that is taking a while to process the data and coming back. It will come back eventually, so it took half a minute. That's quite a lot, but it was a big file, and it found that this document describes the Siebel CRM new features for developer training course offered by the Siebel Hub. So is this true? So let's see the document that I converted to base64. And here I opened it, so that's the document that was sent, the description of our Siebel CRM new features for developer course. And Claude did a good job of summarizing the document. And finally, let's see the file that was used here, the JSON template file, Anthropic Claude multimodal. So I extended the messages to include not only the text type with the prompt, but the other type. Basically, you can add as many prompts or input to Claude by using a specific type. So here in the second section, I use the content type such as image or document, following the Claude documentation, and the source for the document is base64. That's the only supported one. There's the media type where application PDF goes, or image JPEG. And here's your base64 that I can pass in from the, well, from the convenience of just calling a standard Siebel Business Services. So keep in mind, this is a standard Siebel Business Service you can call, and it only has two required things, the two parts that make up that JSON template file name, and then any placeholder you want to fill inside that template, allowing you to go as far as sending base64 of images or documents to an external provider. Again, just a word of caution, do not send anything inside your Siebel CRM, your production environments, to any other cloud provider before considering the security implications. So I have to repeat that. Thank you very much for watching this demo. Take care and bye-bye.